Hey Glammies. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about websites. I wanted to throw you guys a few tips on what you guys should be looking for when you start designing your new website. A lot of people don't know the importance of a website, but it's extremely important for your brand. And if you are going to hire someone, or even if you're going to do it on your own, these are some good tips that you guys can go by so you can start designing your website and getting your site going. Website tip number 1 is to research your domain. Make sure that your domain is not already taken. If it is, then you might need to figure out another way that you can use that domain. If you're settled for doing .com, you might have to change it. If you want to do, you can do maybe like a .org or maybe like a .info. There's other options that you can do. .com is not the only one, but just make sure before you start getting things together for your website, make sure that your domain is available. Website tip number 2 is make sure that you choose the right platform. That you want to use. So you can use platforms like there's Squarespace, there's Wix. This is my fave. I love Wix. I'll get back to that one. There's Shopify. What else is there? There's Weebly. I'm sure there's a lot that I'm missing, but just make sure that you're choosing the right platform. You want to make sure that you're choosing the right platform so that it does all of the things that you need it to do. So if you're choosing a platform with to where you want to sell things, make sure that it's e-commerce. That's for you to be able to sell your items in a store. If you want more of a blog type of website, make sure that you're choosing the right platform for that. You can do something like, a lot of people like WordPress because they like the blog layout. So that's something that you can use as well. So just make sure that you're choosing the right platform. I love using Wix. The reason why I like using Wix is because I am a website designer. So I do need a lot of freedom when it comes to creating a website. With the other platforms, you're not able to be as creative as you are with Wix. With Wix, you're able to place items in certain parts of the screen wherever you want to, pretty much do so many unlimited things. But when it comes to the other platforms, you're stuck with the actual layout, but you're just inputting your information in. So you can choose a nice layout and it can look really pretty, but when it comes to the customizing part, you're not really able to customize unless you know how to do like the coding and the back end of the work. So just make sure that you're choosing the right platform. I'm gonna always be a Wix fan, so I'm gonna say go with Wix because you can have an e-commerce store, you can have a blog, you can do rewards, you can do so many different things. This isn't a Wix, this isn't Wix tips, but I will go with Wix. So tip number 3 is to research everything before you start designing the site or before you start having someone design the site. I actually have a form that I am going to be uploading onto my website that's going to be a freebie, and it's going to basically have all of the outlines that what you need to look for when you're designing your website. So when you're researching before you actually get to your designing portion, make sure that you're researching what type of photos you want to use, research what type of information you want on your website. You need to come up with your verbiage that you need. You need to come up with the colors that you want. Research your color scheme. Make sure your color scheme matches what type of brand and what type of feel you want, what type of vibe you want in your site. Your fonts. There's a lot of things that you have to research before getting your website done. So just make sure that you do this before either hiring someone or doing it yourself, so that it makes it so much easier when it comes to designing the actual website, because you'll already have all of the details needed. You pretty much just have to copy and paste and just place it on the page where you want it to go. So just make sure that the 3rd tip is to make sure that you research everything for your site. Site tip number 4 is to write out your verbiage and details before you get the site going. So this is another form that I have on the freebie that's going to be on my website. It's going to be where you can put down, like, if you want a service or if you wanted a blog or whatever you want to put as on your website. you'll be able to write it in. So when it comes to actually putting it on your website, it's really simple because you just have to, like I said previously, just pretty much copy and paste. So when you're doing this, make sure that every website needs an about section. Your audience needs to know what your website is about. So when you are getting together your verbiage, make sure that you have your about section written out. Make sure you have your services written out, the prices. If you have an e-commerce store, there's a lot of things that you need to that you have to write out for your e-commerce store. I'm going to actually do a separate video for e-commerce just because it is a lot, but you do have to come up with the item pictures, the shipping information, refund information, terms and conditions. There's like a lot of more things that you need to do for e-commerce. So just make sure that you come up with your verbiage before you actually start working on your website, because it just makes it so much easier when you have all of these things done before the actual website gets designed, because then it's really easy when it comes to actually putting it on the site and knowing where to place it and how you want it to be designed. Number 5, I'm going to say, is to make sure that you get a logo done. This could be a signature logo, which is really simple. I actually do signature logos. I don't do like fancy decorative logos, but I just do signatures because they're really simple. So I would recommend at least getting a signature logo done for your website, because you do need something as an identifier for your brand. Like, people would see that and know that that is going with your brand, and you really need that on your website. If you're not gonna have the one that you want designed, you know, like with colors and fancy in the beginning of having your website done, just make sure that you at least get a signature one done so that you can be able to do that. You can add your new one on once you get that done. So just remember to get a logo done. It could be a signature logo or a design logo, but just make sure that you get a logo done. So these are the 5 tips that I would recommend for when you want to start a new website to do beforehand. So just make sure that you do your research. Just make sure that you're branding your website the way that you want it to be seen from the audience's point of view. I've designed quite a bit of websites, so I know a lot of the back end of the website. So these things would actually help me as a graphic designer. If I was to be designing your website, these things would help me to get your website done faster. So I hope that helps you guys out. I'm gonna put these tips on the website as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM, email, or just comment. Thank you guys.